Right, there's his entire life and career in just 2 minutes. Everybody, please say hello to RZA. You got the Wu going. There's a lot, you're keeping busy with this record and everything, but before we talk about the record, we just saw a clip of you in American Gangster.
Yeah, that was cool, yo.
How'd you get away with having the Wu-Tang tattoo and no one covered it up? They're all right with that?
You know what, the director, Ridley Scott, I had this the T-shirt on. It was a scene for us to wear the T-shirts, and I was like, yo, but I got this Wu tattoo. He was like, keep it. They think it was been around before you. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I'll keep it, you know what I mean? So that was him kind of doing this Ridley Scott thing.
You imagine you go back when you were 18 years old or even younger when you're walking up Staten Island, even thinking about the Wu-Tang Clan stuff, that you would be in a movie with Denzel, Russell Crowe, directed by Ridley Scott.
Nah, I didn't think that. I mean, you know, people like Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, it's like idols, you know what I mean? And in my hood, Denzel's the prince, and Russell Crowe was the gladiator, so to get a chance to get on the screen with them was really a true blessing. But I worked hard, took a lot of acting classes and tried to get my, my thing together, and I wanted to roll.
I wonder, do you have a different confidence level when you go into a movie? Because, I mean, you know what you're doing musically, and you've done it a lot, but when you walk into an acting scenario where you realize you don't know that much, compared to what you did as a musician.
Yeah, I think it is a different confidence level. I mean, as hip-hop, we confident because we think we're the coolest in the world, you know what I mean? But I will say, acting, you know, especially with the elite people like Denzel and Russell and Cuba Gooding and all that, you know, it does humble you. And it was pretty times when I was on the set, like, you know, being very quiet and not really being like I'm the man, you know what I mean? And hip-hop, I'm on stage, you come to one of my shows, you know I'm the man, you know what I mean? So it's definitely a different transition. But as you do it each time, you get better and better. And I did another film called Gospel Hill.
That's coming out, right?
Yeah, with Danny Glover and Angela Bassett, Sam Jackson, a whole bunch of good people in there. Nia Long, you know what I mean? But my confidence was up more because it was after Gangster.
You know, you got 8 Diagrams, this new Wu record. I wondered, for you, because, I mean, you're the guy that's sort of the musical director, is it the difference in making a Wu-Tang record today as opposed to what it was in the very beginning?
Yeah, I will say it's different. I try to make it similar, but the different thing is that, you know, Wu-Tang, we all grew up into our own individual selves, and before it was more like just come to the crib and make a song, you know what I mean? Now it's like you gotta schedule it, you know, it's money involved with it and stuff like that, you know? It's nothing like the good old days when you just guys hanging out, smoking a little bit, drinking a little bit, and putting on hype beats and just doing your thing. You know, a lot of those old songs just came from our natural, spontaneous ways. And
you had, in the first stuff, you had asked them to bring $50 to record each person, and they didn't all even bring $50?
They all didn't bring $50. Even though I had paid for the session ahead of time, you know, being the abbot, I always got to do things to test the faith of the students, you know what I mean? So that was like a kung fu test to test their faith, you know what I mean?
And some of them failed, but you kept it together.
Yeah, but I still kept it together, guaranteed.
What's it like working with the guys now? Because, I mean, a lot of the guys in Wu-Tang Clan are very famous now, and they weren't famous. None of you guys were famous when it started. I mean, is it as an enjoyable experience? I mean, you got a lot of grief from some of the guys after the fact.
Definitely, but it's definitely still enjoyable. I mean, those are some of the most unique brothers or men that I've ever been around in my whole life. And I've been around, you know, many people around the world. I will say the Wu-Tang Clan are very unique individuals, and if we was all here right now, you know what I mean, it'd be some pandemonium, you know what I mean? But they're very unique, and so I still love being around them.
I mean, you did get some criticism the way the record was put together. What do you think when you read that back from some of the guys that you made this record with?
I kind of laugh at it because the most criticism came from Raekwon the Chef, and then you put the album on. He's on every song. So he's like, yo. He said, you know, I wasn't feeling some of the beats. He's not only on every song, he goes first. He's the first one to go in the booth and do it. So I was like, I think something else was itching him, you know what I mean? And he just spoke out, you know? That's how it is, you know, brothers do that sometimes. Sometimes your brother could look at you and you have a prettier girlfriend in him, you know what I mean? And he just get mad at you and don't want to speak to you or things like that. It happens in happens in all families, and we are a family, so it happens to us.
I mean, talk about making a record. I mean, I know for a lot of people, I mean, old DB, for making a record without Old Dirty Bastard.
Well, that's something right there that, you know, that for me it was real, you know, hard to do. Old Dirty brought so much creativity, so much spirit and soul into Wu-Tang. He was one of the best soul brothers you ever gonna meet, you know what I mean? And he had a very unique heart about himself, and him not being in the studio with me was really, I felt it.
When you found out he passed, where were you? Like, how'd you get that call?
Actually, we was together all night in my studio doing songs and, you know, partying a little bit, of course. But I had to go do an MTV interview for a movie called Derailed. I walk out to go do the interview. He's laying there on the floor, you know, because he was so hot, he laid on the floor. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, you all right? Because I'm going to go do this interview. Yeah, I'm cool, God, go ahead, man. I leave, and 90 minutes later, my phone rings. I'm like, what the? It was pretty weird, you know. I couldn't imagine what happened. You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's one thing that I can't put my finger on to this day.
Did it change you?
Yeah, it changed me. Losing him, I lost Old Dirty after I lost my mother, so that's like two of the most tightest people that was in my life. So it got me, it wrecked me, actually, you know what I mean?
I wonder how that affects your art, you know, making records as a grown man, as opposed to when you weren't a grown man.
Well, one thing it does, you know what I mean, it takes a lot out of you, but then it puts a lot back into you because, you know, I know he want me to go on. You know, he got a lot of children. I got children that still need food, clothing, and shelter. And so I got to keep it going, yo. You know what I mean? You got little A-Son out there, little ODB, you know what I mean? And, you know, he needs food, clothing, and shelter. So I'll just keep pushing. But it's not easy, though. I will admit that.
I can imagine. I mean, one thing that you do to sort of help you through, I guess, is you're busy. You got a lot of different things.
Yeah.
The chess club.
Yeah. Hip Hop Chess Federation. I'm one of the board of directors. I'm into chess. I love chess. Actually, chess, I think, is what kept me sane for the last few years because, I mean, I will play like 30, 40 games a day when I feel depressed, and I don't think about nothing else. It's the only thing besides strong substance that keeps my mind out of depression, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I became addicted to it, and I joined the Hip Hop Chess Federation. We had a couple of tournaments. I won the hip hop belt, so I'm the hip hop champion right now, you know what I mean?
How did you discover chess?
I mean, I first learned it when I was a little kid, around 11 years old. The girl upstairs, she was a chess player, and she was a nymphomaniac. And so...
I have never met a nymphomaniac chess player, and I wish I have. Come on, really?
I'm serious, yo. She taught me both things. There you go.
Really?
Seriously, honestly, yo.
She made a man out of you.
She made a man out of me, man. But I didn't get serious into chess until about 3 or 4 years ago when I kept losing to the RZA. He kept beating me, and I'm wondering, how come he keep beating me? And then his little son came over, like, my dad read books now.
About chess?
Yeah, so I was like, okay. And so I picked up a couple of books, and I've really learned the game now, and now I'm striving to become a chess master. Striving hard.
Now, when you played all those games, who were you playing against? Like you said, playing 40 games a day.
Oh, I play against, it could be me and the RZA, me and Reverend William Burke, my new student. Yeah. Me and my brother Freedom, Master Killer. There's a couple of guys in LA. We meet at the Starbucks and we play games. You know, on the weekend, my man Monk. So I play games with people. You know, we meet up on a nice sunny day, and just go to war.
It helps you with life, doesn't it?
Yeah, that helps you calculate.
You know, war, I mean, and the Shaolin and the Wu-Tang thing, I mean, in the very beginning, there was very much talk about the relationship with, you know, with that kind of world and Shaolin. Does it mean the same for you all the years later?
Definitely. The whole thesis is that we come in peace, prepared for war. You know what I mean? And that's how I think you should approach all situations, approach every situation peacefully, you know what I mean? But you gotta be like water, like Bruce Lee would say, you know what I mean? So you gotta be prepared for war. Even chess itself, you know, one reason why I joined the Hip Hop Chess Federation is because in the urban communities, we don't have this kind of strategy way of thinking. You know, most guys get in trouble so quick because they don't think. You know, and one moment could change your life. If you could take the time to think, your brain activates between 4 to 7 times before you speak or do. But most people don't take the time to do that, you know what I mean? Chess is something that I think if the urban community, more of us would learn it and get into our system, we'll be able to kind of think twice, think 3 times before you make that stupid move and end up in jail, dead, or doing some kind of criminal activity that destroys your life. You know
do you have not a responsibility, but do you feel a personal responsibility to be there and help teach people this? You know, guys, because you said you're student, Reverend, right? And you got a lot of people who look to you to help them get to another level. Is it your responsibility in your mind to teach lessons like that?
I think it is my responsibility. I've read something when I was young. It said that the civilized is held responsible for the uncivilized, and if you don't take your responsibility, you will get punished. And as I got older, you know, I got into the Shaolin philosophy, I realized what they mean. The Shaolin temple was burnt down because they kept all their secrets to themselves. But if their wisdom would have spread out to the people, then the people would have been able to defend themselves before it got to them. So when you got something of power, like Spider-Man said, with great powers come responsibility, you got to utilize that, yo. That's real life.
Absolutely. Let me wrap you on this question here. You go back to 91, 92, 93. You look at what Wu-Tang Clan were doing. You look at what the demise of NWA, but what Ice Cube was doing. You look at all these guys who are the villains in society. At least that's how they're presented. And now you're in movies with Denzel and Russell. Ice Cube is fronting weekend family comedies. Right. Are we there yet? And sequels. And how different it is. Queen Latifah is one of the best actors in the world. Right. You know, and you look, just a shift. Can you imagine, like, take a look at what has happened?
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think what the world overlooked was that we're not just hip-hop. We're hip-hop artists. And as an artist, we can express ourselves through many mediums. And you're starting to see that every day.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Respect.
There's a new Bobby digital record coming out in June as well. And of course, there's the Wu-Tang record, which is available. Don't leave. We'll come right back.